You may have heard of a 4-day work week, but what about the same for schools? I'm Tisha Powell.
And I'm Lee Zurich. It's a concept districts across the country have been exploring as hundreds move toward a 4-day school week. We found the change comes in an effort to reduce costs and to recruit and retain teachers as the U.S. faces a critical shortage of educators.
But some question the impact a shorter week could have on students who already missed out on significant learning during the pandemic. While the 4-day schedule started in small rural schools, it's expanding into urban communities.
Investigative reporter Kristen Crowley takes us to a school district where opinions are divided.
What is the main thing that you see within those documents?
David Warnix has been a teacher with Independence School District for the last 4 years.
Look at the source here.
But the 2023-24 academic year looks a lot different than what he's used to.
Is the 4-day school week as a teacher a perk?
It is. It's a great work-life balance. Just having those Mondays off. I use that time for planning, but I'm also a new father, and so being able to spend that time with my newborn son on Mondays is valuable time.
Time that's valuable to him and the Kansas City area school system. It's one of more than 160 districts in Missouri now operating on a 4-day schedule.
This was 100% about recruiting and then retaining the very best staff here in the Independent School District.
Was that an issue before this?
It was. Coming off of the pandemic, I think all school districts are seeing a large shortage, and certainly that was impacting us.
Superintendent Dale Hurl says the Tuesday through Friday schedule has been a success so far.
We started this school year with every teaching position filled, and the number of applications that we still continue to receive is about 4 times what it was previously.
According to a recent EdWeek Research Center survey, 2/3 of teachers, principals, and district leaders said they'd either be slightly or much more willing to accept a job offer from a district with a 4-day school week.
I think the biggest benefit school districts are trying to get from 4-day school weeks is just greater flexibility.
Paul Thompson, a researcher at Oregon State University who studies the 4-day week, says it's a move that's been gaining traction over the last 5 years. At least 25 states have districts following the truncated schedule.
Back in 2019, there was about 1,600 schools and just over 650 school districts nationwide that were using the 4-day school week. And now we're closer to around 2,100 schools in almost 900 districts nationally that are using this school schedule.
But research shows the impacts of COVID have made time in the classroom more critical than ever.
It's very important in this moment to add an instructional time and not decrease it.
A recent study by the nonprofit Northwest Evaluation Association found that students need more than 4 months of extra schooling in math and reading to return to pre-pandemic achievement levels.
Would that be possible for districts that condense their days to 4-day school weeks?
I think the 4-day school week model really hinges on whether or not that instructional time is protected and it is equivalent to what we'd expect in a 5-day school week.
Regulations on instructional time vary by state, but many districts operating on a 4-day schedule are extending their days to keep in line with a full week. On average, students in 5-day districts spend about 35 hours in school weekly, while their 4-day counterparts are generally in school an extra 50 minutes each day. Overall, they tend to spend 58 fewer hours in the classroom annually.
Schools that are on the lower end of the instructional time distribution seem to be showing the lowest achievement levels.
At Independence, Earl says the school calendar has been adjusted and days have been extended by 35 minutes, leaving instructional time on par with what it used to be. For some, the move to a 4-day week was welcome.
A lot more time to prep and do my homework.
And it does make the week go by faster.
But for others,
I was not very pleased with the decision.
Brandy Puente has 3 children, ages 7 to 13, in the district. She says the recent change hasn't been easy for any of them.
It's a juggling act?
Yes. And I would say for me too, it's more stressful on Mondays. I can't focus as much on my own job because I'm like, hope the kids are doing okay.
They usually stay home catching up on schoolwork and chores.
It's not as fun as it sounds.
A former educator at Independence, Brandy now teaches 5 days a week at a nearby district. She says she doesn't believe shortened weeks are best for learning.
I do think that it's something to be said about that exposure to your subject matter 5 times a week.
Research on the 4-day school week is mixed. A comprehensive 2021 report from RAND highlights improvements in time with family, but found that student achievement did not grow as fast and could compound over time. Even so, Thompson says the majority of districts that have tried it like it.
90% of school districts that have ever switched to the 4-day school week are still remaining on a 4-day school week schedule.
Group them up into 2 separate groups.
So at least for now,
The 4-day week is going to be kind of a game changer.
it appears the 4-day school week is here to stay.
I just feel more rejuvenated going into each week, and I can be the energetic teacher that these students need. And so I'm really excited for it to happen next year again as well.
Reporter Kristen Crowley joins us now. Kristen, what are researchers saying about potential non-academic impacts from the 4-day week?
Thompson points out there are concerns surrounding student nutrition, physical health, and involvement in risky behavior on those 5th days, not to mention childcare needs for many families. So he says districts looking to implement this model should think about how they can create policies that are more equitable for everyone they serve. At Independence, for example, they've reduced the cost for childcare and they offer free meals and extracurricular activities at certain locations on Mondays.
Are the states on board with the 4-day schedule?
Lawmakers in some states have pushed back against the move. For example, in 2019, Oklahoma passed a law requiring a state board of education waiver for districts interested in either keeping or adopting the 4-day week. And in Missouri, a bill has been introduced that would mandate some districts looking to make the switch to obtain voter approval. Independence's superintendent wrote to lawmakers in opposition of that proposed bill.